Yogah Karmasu Kaushalam.
Then you have on your screen a particular chart here. Okay, there are 3 A, B, and C points. This is the process of counseling. Okay, so when you look at A, what is A here? A is awareness on the part of the learner. What are you doing? You are making that person aware. Okay, aware about the situation. As simple as that. Don't judge, don't give them solutions, don't provide them with a particular answer, just make them aware. Then B is behavioral change in the desired direction, because behavioral change can be negative as well. So if you desire that this person should reach a particular goal in this manner, allow that person time first. You desire whatever you desire is good for you, but see, you are only a person who is counseling. You are not a person who is overpowering. Sometimes we blur that line between counseling and overpowering. We start feeling ourselves to be the most important person in the life of our student and tell them, okay, this is the only thing that is right, you should follow that. That is not how you deal with them. They are not school children, they are almost adults, okay, moving towards a life of a very different kind in the world which is highly competitive, a world which is highly emotionally hijacking. So what do you do there? You make them aware of what they are, who they are basically. And C is understanding his or her potentialities, limitations, and how to utilize them best in achieving the goals. What do? You are managing. It is as simple as that. Not everybody is the same. You cannot have every person as the same person, then it would be highly robotic. The class would be that is not what your students are. A would be good at something, B would be good at some other thing, C would be good at other thing as well. So you as the leader of the pack should know who is good at what. Okay, this if you watch cricket, all of us watch a lot of cricket. Our country is a cricket crazy country. So when Saurav Ganguly, for example, when he was our Indian captain, he told in one of the interviews that he was asked rather that how do you deal with a lot of talented people around you? What do you do? And he said a very wonderful thing. He said, a leader who is not the best, a leader is the one who knows who is the best. Okay, so he was not the best of the lot. You had Sachin Tendulkar and you had VVS Lakshman and you had Anil Kumble and you had Rahul Dravid and legends of the game. But why was Ganguly the captain? Because he knew that Sachin Tendulkar is good at this thing. Sachin Tendulkar cannot be Anil Kumble, and Anil Kumble cannot be Sachin Tendulkar also. It is as simple as that. You cannot tell a fish to climb a tree, okay, and you cannot tell a monkey to swim. So that is how the world works. Fish is good at swimming, monkey is not good at swimming. That does not mean that monkey is not good or fish is not good. It is their individual capacity. So that is how you deal with the students when you are processing towards counseling. So we have discussed the basics of counseling process. Okay. Now there is a diagram on your screen wherein we have bifurcated two counseling processes. One is cognitive aspect and another is affective aspect. Cognitive aspect further comes down to educational counseling. That is what you are doing. And affective aspect deals with personal and psychotherapeutic counseling. That is also part of your duty, but it is an underlined part. Okay, it is underneath. Sometimes it does not have to be on paper, but that is what you are basically doing. Now you see, what does educational or vocational counseling do? That is cognitive counseling. That is a part of cognitive counseling. The first point, as you can see on your screen, is you are establishing a relationship with your fellow counselee, that is your learner. Then you start stating the problem that you might have, then elaborating and explaining the issues. Okay, once you become comfortable with the person that you are talking to, you explore. Okay, you allow yourself to feel free and discuss points, then exploring the relevant psychological aspects of counselees or learners' background. This is very important, friends. What happens is sometimes what they are going through at the personal level at their home is slightly difficult for them to handle coming to a particular institute. They are not comfortable coming to this institute because of various unknown reasons that you might have, as a person might have. What do? You don't ask them about their background, you allow them to speak. Okay, so make them so comfortable that they start speaking about what they're actually going through at the personal level and start discussing issues with you. Then structuring the nature of the process. What is the nature of the process of counseling? Okay, now you have got into the problem section of that particular person. What do then? You start structuring your response to that particular question. Then collecting the needed data from the case material that you have, that is from their application form or from the personal documents that you might come through or come across. Everything is not on paper with regard to a particular student. You'll have to get in very slowly but surely, make them so relatable to your own personality that they start feeling that they are talking to a person who can be their confidant. Becoming their confidant is very important. Then interpreting that particular mindset through the background information that you might have by appraising them and discussing that in a very light-hearted manner. You don't have to share everything or start talking about everything very seriously. Sometimes you need to be very jovial when they are talking about a particular thing to you, and analyze their particular way of talking to you and respond accordingly. Then discuss alternate approaches or plans or trying out plans. Okay. One might not work with that particular person. As I said, everything does not work with everybody. Everybody is a different individual. So everything cannot be done in the same manner always. So what do then? You have a separate way of discussing things with separate individuals. And finally, reassessing. Now, once you have had a session with your student, now here our sessions are not professional sessions as you have with a psychiatrist. They are very informal sessions. So once you have a session of that kind, reanalyze, restructure, and look at what are actually the problem areas by pondering upon them. And when they come back to you, start afresh, discuss it in a new manner. Then this is, friends, general outline of the counseling model. Okay, on your screen you have how many problems are there, the psychotherapeutic problems or models that you might have with regard to discussing things with your learners. Those are your counselees. So your learners are basically people who are your counselees. Okay, so first point is that realize that there is a complaint, a problem, or a symptom. Realization is very important. You should know, first of all, that that particular person talking to you is in some problem. You have to be aware. A teacher is not just a person who goes in the classroom and talks in front of a blackboard and comes out of the classroom. You are there as a person who are trying to inculcate in them a lot of confidence, a lot of reassurance. So analyze that out of the class of 50, for example, there are 7 or 8 people who are not comfortable sitting here, who are somewhere else, who are in a lot of problem, and pinpoint them individually, but in a positive way. Okay, said, okay, so this our session is over. For example, our lecture is over. Now come to me. I need to talk to you with regard to something, and then discuss. Make them comfortable. Then feeling the need for help in resolving the problem. There are a lot of problems that everybody goes through. You should make them aware that your problem is resolvable. Sometimes it happens that they start feeling that, oh, my problem is like a huge mountain, it will never collapse. Every problem, ladies and gentlemen, has a solution. Okay, no problem is without a solution. What do we need to do? We need to focus upon how to bring the best possible solution to that particular problem. Then seeking help and establishing the relationship, that is, as I told you, now you're a friend to that person, as we discussed earlier. Okay, you're not a father figure, you're not a parent, you're a friend. Because your student is, for example, of the age of 18, 20, 25. You yourself as a teacher are at 30, 35, 40. You cannot be a parent to that person, you can be a friend. And then that person becomes the most comfortable person in the whole world if he or she finds a teacher who is as good as a friend. Then moving towards the next point is exploring feelings and personal resources. Okay, they are a bundle of feelings trying to come out. Okay, what do you do then? You are that person who actually discusses that particular area of vulnerability, allow them to feel everything and explore. Being aware of the desirable direction of change, they don't know the way. It is as simple as that. That is why they are students and you are a teacher. Give them a way to walk upon. Don't walk for them. Rather, walk with them. And more importantly, walk behind them. Let them move forward. Let them stumble. Let them fall. Reassure them that you are there for them. But then pick them up. Allow them to walk again. Okay? Working through feelings and inducing the desirable change by means of interpretation and reinforcement. Reinforce that, okay, you are the best at what you are doing. That is very important to tell. That gives them a lot of confidence when they are going to do something for the first time. Make sure that they are at their confident best. Developing insights, this is what you need to do as a teacher. They have to think for themselves, you cannot think for them. You will have to make them very insightful with whatever decisions that they take for the near future. Planning any particular action, you allow them to plan, look at the plan, allow them to walk on that plan, and then try to perhaps refurnish that particular plan that they might have. There might be one or two points which might be problematic, and at the end, implementing the action of the entire thing. Implementing action becomes very important. What they are doing sometimes is that they have a particular plan in their mind, but they are not able to apply it in this particular world. So allow them to apply that, and you'll have wonderful results for them to see. Now we move towards various stages of counseling. Okay, so as you can see on your screen, there are various stages now. In particular, 8 stages of counseling. We would be discussing them individually, of course. The first stage is awareness of need for help. Let me tell you from my experience, learners are not actually aware that they require help. They are not aware about it. Okay, they are so very engrossed in their thought process, which is full of negativity. They don't know what they are going through. So make them aware about that. Okay, you need help in a very good way. Not saying that, oh, you are mad, not like that, but just we need to talk. Let us discuss certain issues. Stage 2 is the development of a relationship. Make them trust you. The most important thing in any relationship is trust. Okay, so you'll have to develop a relationship wherein they are sure of the fact that whatever they tell you will not go anywhere else. Third stage is aid the expression of feelings and clarification of problems. In psychoanalytic terminology, this is catharsis. If you might have studied tragedy, catharsis is allowing them to flow out. Okay, sometimes emotions are jam packed, vacuumed in you. They need an outlet. Where do they give an outlet? You need a person to whom you can talk. Allow them to talk, feel free, cry perhaps, shout, not at you, but shout in general. Discuss everything in the most inappropriate manner. Let them do that. Let everything come out of their system, and then they will feel light, and then you instill things in them, because if they're already full, you'll not be able to instill anything. So allow them to pour everything out and instill confidence in them. Stage 4 is exploration of deeper feelings. Surface feelings are different. Deeper feelings are absolutely something else. You have to go beneath go underneath every possible layer that they might have made, or the ivory tower that they might have. Allow them to grow. Then stage 5 is understanding, regard, and sympathy for the learner's innermost feelings. Those innermost feelings can be very, very problematic. They might be bad also. They might have done something which is not at all good. Allow them to speak it out. Stage 6 is time perspective, that is connecting the dots. Okay, what happened 5 years back? Relate it to this present situation. Connect everything and tell them this is the problem that started perhaps 10 years back, but it is still with you. Allow that to flow out. Stage 7 is wherein you develop awareness that, okay, you are this. They don't know who they are. Tell them, okay, you are capable of doing this, do this. Stage 8, and the last stage is to determine the success of counseling. Whatever you might have done, have a look at them after 15-20 days. Is there any particular change in their personality? Wonderful. If there is no change, redo it. Never lose hope with regard to students. So now, principles of counseling, very simple one liners, you can see it on your screen. The first and the foremost thing that is very important is counseling is a process, it is not a product. Okay, so allow it to process itself. You will not get instant results. Second is counseling is for all. Everybody is free to get himself or herself counseled, and you as a person or as a teacher are actually very responsible for counseling each and every student who comes to you for that particular matter. Third point is counseling is based on certain fundamental assumptions or ideas. There are certain basics things. For example, what do you do when you counsel? The first thing is you talk. You make that person comfortable. So that is a very basic thing. You cannot just look at that person and counsel. You'll have to have that person to you, in front of you, besides you perhaps, and allow that person to feel free and allow that person to talk. Then what is counseling further? Here you are only a catalyst. Okay, you are not a person who is governing counseling. You are only a catalyst who is actually trying to help that particular person come out of a particular situation. Then it is not, remember, you can see it on your screen also, it is not advice giving. You are not advising when you are counseling. Okay, you are not a person who is a Mr. Know All, that you are the best person in this world and you have a possible answer to every particular question that you might have. Okay, counseling is just allowing that person to be himself or herself. You're not advisor there. Then counseling is for enabling the learner to do judicious thinking. Think, but judiciously. Know the pros and cons of every situation and start thinking upon it. Then counseling is not thinking for the learner, but it is thinking with the learner. You're not doing it as a substitute to your learner. You allow that person to come to a possible solution of his or her own and be with that person. You are with him or her. You're not doing it for him or her. Then counseling, again, very important, is not problem solving. You are not expected to solve every problem through counseling. You might not be able to solve any problem as such. What do you do then? You allow that person just to be himself or herself. Friends, the most important thing in this entire world is when you are yourself with your own self. Okay? When you are not trying to be somebody else, when you are not cheating your own self by becoming somebody else. That is what you need to do. Tell them that however or whoever you are the best version of yourself. Then counseling is not interviewing. Remember this. It is only conversing. I'm not interviewing that person. Okay, what is your name? What are you doing? That is intimidating. I'm only talking as if you're talking to a friend. There is no baggage when you're talking to a friend. At that particular time, you are who you are. Similarly, as a teacher, you'll have to be his or her friend. And the last point is counselor has to prepare the learner to open to criticism, including self-criticism. This I'll like to elaborate a bit on this. What is the problem with the youngsters between, say, 17 and 25? Is that they don't like being criticized. They rebound when they are criticized because they believe that they are the best. What they do is the best. They cannot be guided by anybody. They are doing everything which is absolutely pitch perfect. Make them aware that you are not the best. You yourself have to criticize your own self. You are open to criticism, and criticism is the first step towards progress. How do you progress in life? When somebody criticizes you. If I tell you you are the best always, you'll be comfortable then. Okay, and comforting feeling is not good for progress. Okay, so make them uncomfortable at times also. You can do much better. You're not doing very good. Don't praise them often. Never overpraise them. Praise them accordingly. This is good. If you tell them, oh, you are doing something extraordinary, they'll be bloated. Okay, so I don't need to improve. This is, you are good, but this can be improved. This can be improved. That is how you counsel them towards doing something wonderful in life. On your screen, you have factors used in counseling. So you have a situation here. For example, when the counselee enters the room, what do you do with that counselee? The first thing is greet that person. If that person is very egoist and you see that person and tell that person good morning, that person would start feeling less egoistic because now he or she feels that, okay, my teacher is telling me good morning. So what is the problem in me saying good morning? Otherwise, if you don't tell them, they are very egoist people sometimes. They don't tell them either. So they're not comfortable. This is ice breaking. Okay. Allow them to be fine with you. Second is call the person by name. Very important. You should know the name of your students. It gives them a different sense of belongingness. If I know an X particular student, I should call that student by their name. Okay. Not by, hey, come here. Oi, અહીંયા આવો જેમાં આપણે ગુજરાતીમાં ઘણી વાર કહીએ. Don't do that. Rajesh, come here. Parth, come here. They would feel that they belong to this particular place because naming them is very important. It gives them a sense of belongingness. Then welcome the learner and make him or her comfortable. Just tell that person, okay, sit as you please. Be fine in your discipline, in your limits, but be fine, be comfortable. Then welcome and introduce yourself if meeting for the first time, and tell the person the purpose of the meeting. If you're meeting that person for the first time, don't shoot your purpose directly. Greet that person, make that person sit, make him or her comfortable, and then tell him or her that, okay, we are meeting here for this particular topic or for this particular reason. And at the end, encourage that person to talk. Don't start talking. Allow that person to talk. How do you do it? Be silent, but be observant. Not neglecting that person. Be silent in front of that person. Just sit and ask that person, okay, so talk. What is that you're going through? What is your problem? What are you going through in life? Just talk. If you start talking, then that is the same thing that you're doing in the classroom. You are talking yourself. That person is not allowed to blossom at all. So allow that person to talk. Be relatable. Okay. Now we are moving towards factors that are used in counseling. These were certain factors of counseling. Now you can see on your screen here. Okay. Factors used in counseling are, the first thing is active attending or listening. Very important. Listen. This is the quality that most of us lack. Or whenever we listen to respond. Okay. Don't do that. Just listen. Okay. Without any baggage in your mind of answering that person back. Be fine with the process of listening. And listening has three subparts. The first is reflection of content and feeling. So when you're listening, that person should feel that you are involved in listening. That person should not feel that, okay, this person is just sitting, going through the motions, is not interested. That should not be the feeling. Second is question back. Questioning is the best form of making that person notice that, okay, you are listening because you are questioning. If you don't question, then there is no point wherein you can prove that you are listening. And third is paraphrasing and clarification. Once the entire talk is done, paraphrase. Okay, so we discussed today about XYZ. Okay, that is paraphrasing. Clarify. In X, this is your problem. In Y, this is your problem. In Z, this is your problem. Be fine with everything. Try to overcome them individually. Don't tell them that come tomorrow in the session that I might have with you, you should have your problems ticked off. That is not possible. Time is to be given to that particular person to feel comfortable. Okay, then another two factors are on your screen with regard to counseling. One is interpretation, and second is repeating. Now, in interpretation, what do? You look at the first point. Often people avoid focusing on the real problem and talk around the issue. This is a problem that students face, learners face. When they sit in front of you, they are not able to talk about the actual problem. They would be beating around the bush. Okay, what do then? You make them comfortable. Tell them, okay, you're fine, you can talk to me about absolutely anything. The first thing that you need to tell them is, I won't judge you. A bow line important છે, યાદ રાખજો. I will not be judging you. Just feel free to tell me anything that you want to. Second is interpretation goes beyond what is explicitly expressed by the feelings and implied meanings of learner statement. Analyze what that person is trying to say between the lines, because that person might feel shy of sharing certain problems. Analyze what he or she is trying to say between the lines. For example, if that person is saying that, sir or madam, I'm not able to sleep every day. That is a huge problem that I face. So, what is between the lines? He or she is under a lot of mental pressure of some kind. Ask that person to feel free and discuss that pressure that he or she is feeling. Make that person very, very comfortable, extremely comfortable, and allow that person to pour it out. Catharsis, you remember? Pour it out. That is how you do it. Then the counselor also helps the learner to establish what is relevant, emphasizing the important points. For example, of all the things you talked about today, this seems to be the most important thing. આવી રીતે તમારે end કરવાનું છે. We discussed 10 points, but this is very important. So that is how you interpret the problems. On the other side, you have repeating. At times, in stress and in crisis, what happens is learners are in a state of feeling deeply sad and overwhelmed. They are very sad of what they are going through. Sometimes they are overwhelmed also because you, as a person, are at a particular pedestal to them. They feel that sir ને આવી વાત થોડી કરાય, એવું નથી. You as a teacher are his or her best friend. Be that within your limits, of course, but you have to draw the line, of course, but allow them to be themselves. They may not always understand everything they are told. This is also very important. If you speak and everybody starts understanding everything that you speak, you would become irrelevant very soon. There would be problems because everybody has a separate sense of looking at things. Respect that. And as a counselor, do not hesitate and repeat salient points of the discussion, statements of support, or necessary facts. You sometimes have to repeat what is important and delete what is not quite important. So you'll have to balance that when you repeat. So, at the end, what should a counselor do? You have certain points on your screen here. The first thing that you should do is summarize. The second thing, confront. Okay, confrontation. That means not running away from the problem. As a counselor, also, sometimes you don't want to discuss certain things which are very personal. Third thing is respect that every problem is a genuine problem for that particular person. Respect that individual first. The first thing that you should do is, as an individual who is a counselor, is respecting the other person's point of view, frame of mind. Then structuring or prioritizing what is good, what is bad, what should be kept, what should be deleted, deciding the plan of action, how would you move forward with what you are going to do with that particular person, and conclude that session in a positive way. At the end, you should not allow that particular learner to be depressed. Conclude in a very positive way. Okay, so these are your problems. They are not huge, like that. Let that problem, don't be very normal with a huge problem also. Sometimes you are caught unaware of the density of that particular problem. Don't do that. Just make that person feel light and positive. That's it.